The Venetian Black Nobility, A History. The Neuschwabenland Times by Spenra. These people earned the title of black nobility from their ruthless lack of scruple. They employed murder, rape, kidnapping, assassination, robbery, and all manner of deceit on a grand scale, brooking no opposition to attaining their objectives. These all have immense wealth. And money is power. The most powerful of the black nobility families are located in Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Britain, Holland and Greece in that order. Their roots may be traced back to the Venetian oligarchs, who are of Khazar extraction, and married into these royal houses in the early part of the 12th century. Following a great Khazar victory over the Arabs, the future emperor, Constantine V, married a Khazar princess and their son became Emperor Leo IV, also known as Leo the Khazar. The Medici popes, Pius XII, Eugenio Pasili, and John Paul II were Khazars. Not all black nobility are royal houses, and many of the royal families no longer have kingdoms. According to researcher and author Dr. John Coleman, a committee of 300 was established early in the 18th century, although it did not take on its present form until around 1897, when the China opium trade was legalized. Documentary proof as to the existence of the Committee of 300 is not forthcoming, and it may be no more than a convenient phrase to describe certain key players. Socialist politician and financial advisor to the Rothschilds, Walter Rathenau, writing in the Wiener Press, 24th of December, 1921, said, "Only 300 men, each of whom knows all others govern the fate of Europe. They select their successors from their own entourage. These men have the means in their hands of putting an end to the form of state which they find unreasonable." Exactly 6 months after publication, Rathenau was assassinated. Dr. Coleman's work opens the door to further studies on named members of the ruling elite, particularly in America. Whereas the English have a long history and are very aware of their ancestry, certain families of blue bloods in the United States that have historic ties with the British through blood and money. These noble families are behind most if not all of the so-called pro-environmental movements that are actually intended to curb the population growth of all nations. Prince Philip and Prince Charles are the most visible symbols of this movement, and are a true part of this conspiracy to destroy industry and take the world back to a new dark age. Most if not all the crowned and uncrowned heads of these dynasties enjoy huge incomes from ground rents. All favor Global 2000 report to the president that's calculated to end all industrial progress, and by famine, disease and wars, eliminate the excess population industry supports. All oppose nuclear power that can produce clean cheap electricity, the key to economic development and prosperity in the Third World. They ardently desire a return to the feudal system where they will once again be absolute rulers. While professing Christianity, the oligarchical families, for the greater part, actually despise it in secret. Masonry provides their religious fulfillment. And without faith, they have no belief in reward or punishment and a world to come. They live for the here and now. Many of these oligarchies are in the drug and arms trade through well-distanced intermediaries, like so many of the large banks. In 1815 the Jesuits and their Freemason allies among the crowned heads of Europe held the Congress of Vienna, whereby Swiss neutrality, already sanctioned by the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, was forever guaranteed, and no matter how many wars are provoked in which the common man has to do the fighting, the money of the nobility in Switzerland should always be free from plunder. It's part of Rothschild's meticulous long-range planning, and why Switzerland exists to this day. But that doesn't mean to say your money would be safe. Some $280 billion PA in flight capital and drug money flows into the Swiss accounts of the black nobility. The place of Freemasonry in the power structure of the elites is quite evident as they carried through Adam Weishaupt's conspiracy to avenge the Jesuits after their abolition in 1773 by short-lived Pope Clement XIV as immoral and a menace to the Church and the faith. By launching the French Revolution and directing Napoleon's conquest of Catholic Europe, and by revolts against the Church in Mexico and Latin America, they cut off Vatican income. Nathan Rothschild's financing of Britain resulted in the defeat of Rome's enemy Napoleon, as well as being the source of his wealth and influence. Since Gregory XVI conferred a papal declaration on Kallman Rothschild for loaning the Vatican £5 million in a period of difficulty, the Rothschilds have been the fiscal agents of the Vatican. With Vatican interests at heart, the Rothschilds extended their financial and political dominion in the United States. The Vatican's interest in the U.S. was clearly revealed in the secret 1822 Treaty of Verona between Austria, France, Prussia, and Russia, whereby the Jesuit order pledged itself as the price of reinstatement to destroy the works of Satan it had established in setting up, by revolution, representative governments such as the republics and democracies of France and the USA, replacing them with the only form of government approved by the Church, rule by divine right, as declared by the Vatican, Daniel 2:42-43, Revelation 17:12-13. As Senator Robert Owen pointed out to the U.S. Senate in 1916, the prime target to which the Vatican and the Holy Alliance directed the subversive and destructive activities of the Society of Jesus, is the United States, and other republics in the Western Hemisphere. This plot, he claimed, was the target at which the Monroe Doctrine was directed. What the senator did not realize is that the Monroe Doctrine protects the interests of the City of London. The Rothschild Vatican cabal unsuccessfully attempted to gain control over the power of the purse in the U.S. through the First and Second Bank of the United States. They were established under emergency powers granted to the President by the Constitution, as temporary institutions to tide the country through the periods of financial stress occasioned by the Revolutionary and 1812 wars. But the aims of the conspirators to establish a banking monopoly were thwarted by the Constitution. Until the Fed. It is said the black nobility promised a neutral Germany if Soviet Russia allowed East and West Germany to reunite. And that Russia promised to see that all royal houses are restored to the rightful heirs if they decouple Europe from the American alliance. Imperial nobility enjoy a more elevated status than the nobilities of the German successor states and, indeed, of the Italian states. The descendants of Italian Holy Roman Empire titles have formed an association to which all male line descendants of someone ennobled by imperial patent is entitled to belong. And the Principality of Liechtenstein has also claimed the ability to confirm a succession to imperial titles, and has confirmed the right of a Spanish nobleman to heir such a title for purposes of the Spanish law requiring the successor state to confirm that the claimant to a particular title is in fact the heir. Thus there is remaining jurisdiction, even though no imperial titles have been conferred since 1806. In 1963, the Holy Roman Empire Association, Associazione Nobili del Sacro Romano Impero, was established to unite male descendants in its membership who are invested with nobility of the Holy Roman Empire. It also includes a number of honorary members. The black nobility belong to the Committee of 300 that controls the UN. Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands has the power to veto the Vatican's choice of any pope it selects. This may explain the untimely end to Pope John Paul I's 33-day pontificate. The prince has veto power because his family, the Habsburgs, are descended directly from the last Roman emperor. The Habsburg Frederick III was the last emperor to be crowned in Rome. His great-grandson Charles V was the last to be crowned by a pope. This is the civil equivalent of the pope's claimed apostolic succession from St. Peter. Prince Bernhard is leader of the black families and he also claims descent from the House of David through the Merovingian dynasty, a claim that was acknowledged to be valid by the Carolingian dynasty that supplanted them, by other monarchs and by the Roman Church of that time. Thus he can truly say that he is related to Jesus. Prince Bernhard's House of Orange had its origins in France. The Habsburgs are related through marriage with the Merovingians, who are said to have descended from the tribe of Benjamin who went into exile following war with the other 11 tribes, see Judges chapter 21. Exile took them to Arcadia in the central Peloponnese, Greece. Here they aligned with the Arcadian royal line and towards the advent of the Christian era, migrated up the Danube and Rhine, through marriage engendering the Sicumbrian Franks, the immediate forebears of the Merovingians, who were ultimately of Semitic origin, and descendants of King Saul. They are identified with the Spartans, and both books of Maccabees link the Spartans with the Jews. Maccabees 12 tells of Jonathan sending a letter to the Lacedaemonians, Spartan Greeks, asking for their help, since they were brethren. The Spartans replied, "It is found in writing, that the Lacedaemonians and Jews are brethren and that they are of the stock of Abraham," verse 21. It is assumed by some writers that this means the Spartans were Israelites, but the Spartans were not Israelites. They were Edomites descended from Bela son of Beor and brother of Balaam, and king of Edom, Genesis 36:32. I Chronicles 1:43. Edom was the son of Isaac and grandson of Abraham who sold his birthright, and bred his posterity off the Book of Life. Early in the 5th century the Merovingians established themselves in what is now Belgium and northern France. There they adopted the Kabbalistic pseudo-Christianity of the Cathars, a dualistic religion that holds there are two eternal gods, the God of good and the God of evil. It is revealing that this Luciferian belief is held by Masons of high degree, and those who would be masters of this world today, and who claim that Lucifer will ultimately be victorious. Under Clovis I, who reigned from 481–511, the Franks converted to Roman Catholicism. Through him, Rome began to establish undisputed supremacy in Western Europe. In return for being the sword of Rome whereby the Church would manifest her power and impose a spiritual dominion, Clovis was granted the title of New Constantine and to preside over a unified Holy Roman Empire based on the Church and administered on the secular level in perpetuity by the Merovingian bloodline. Like the sure mercies of David, this was a pact that could be modified, but not revoked, broken or betrayed. When in 496 the Church pledged itself in perpetuity to the Merovingian bloodline, it was presumably in full knowledge of their claimed identity. This would explain why Clovis was offered the status of Holy Roman Emperor, and why he was not created but only crowned king. In 754 the Church clandestinely betrayed its pact. The Pre-Eurydicean is the name of the secret order which created the Knight Templars as its military and administrative arm. It should be remembered that the Knight Templars were the forerunners of Freemasonry. The Pre-Eurydicean continues to function through the centuries, acting in the shadows, and has orchestrated certain critical events in Western history. It exists today and is still operative. Its declared objective is the restoration of the Merovingian dynasty and bloodline to the throne not only of France, but of other European nations as well, a restoration that is sanctioned and justifiable, both legally and morally. There is strong evidence to suggest that this order was the author of Freemasonry, and the protocols of the learned elders of Sion, as well as the Rosicrucians. There is abundant evidence to suggest that Nostradamus was one of their secret agents, and there is no question that numerous quatrains which refer to the advent of Le Grand Monarch indicate that this sovereign will ultimately derive from the Merovingian dynasty, implying a double hegemony of the papacy and the empire, of the Vatican and of the Habsburgs. He frequently referred quite explicitly to the Knights Templars and to the House of Lorraine, which is now synonymous with the Habsburgs. Although deposed in the 8th century, the Merovingian bloodline did not become extinct. On the contrary, it perpetuated itself in a direct line from Dagobert II and his son Sigismund IV. By dint of dynastic alliances and intermarriages, this line came to include Godefroy de Bouillon, who captured Jerusalem in 1099, and various other noble and royal families, past and present, Blanchefort, Guises, St. Clair, Sinclair in England, Montesquieu, Montpezat, Pohà, Lusignan, Planted and Habsburg-Lorraine. At present, the Merovingian bloodline enjoys a legitimate claim to its heritage. The crown of Charlemagne, a replica of which is now part of the Imperial Habsburg regalia, is said to have borne the inscription Rex Salomon, Encyclopaedia Britannica, 14th ed., 1972, Crown and Regalia, Figure 2. And the Spear of Destiny, which is said to have pierced Christ, reside today in the Treasure House, Vienna, awaiting another Holy Roman Emperor, the Rigby Joy of Knowledge Library. History and Culture I, 1977-160, The Holy Roman Empire, Friedrich Heer, p. 284. It is clear why the protocols of the Elders of Science speak of a new king of the Holy Seed of David, Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, Bagent, Lee and Lincoln. Otto von Habsburg is today the titular Duke of Lorraine and King of Jerusalem. The pre-Eurydicean claim to hold the lost treasure of the Temple of Jerusalem plundered by Titus in AD 70, which would be returned to Israel when the time was right. This might explain why Rome must defer to the kings of the earth and how she will seal a covenant with the Jews who have long hidden behind the shield of baptism. Prince Bernhard is in fact related to the Khazars, and therefore a Gentile. Revelation 2-9, I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but you are rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Assisted by the CIA, Prince Bernhard has brought the hidden ruling body of the Illuminati into public knowledge as the Bilderberg Group. Established in 1954, its headquarters is 1 Smidswater, Den Haag, Netherlands. At the heart of the Bilderberg Group are 39 members of the Illuminati chosen from 3 committees drawn from the members of all the secret groups that comprise the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Vatican and the Black Nobility. This committee works year-round in offices in Switzerland. The Committee of 300 now call themselves World Government Founders for the NWO. A reference no doubt to their hereditary claim to the divine right of kings. It is imperative that we realize that privately, the black nobility refused to ever recognize any government other than their own inherited and divine right to rule. They believe the United States still belongs to England, and work diligently behind the scenes to cause conditions whereby they might regain their crowns. Every royal and so-called noble dynasty past and present of Europe have seats on the Committee of 300, most often by nominees. There are just too many of these royal families for them each to have representatives on the Committee of 300. Precedence is determined by rank, first royal family members, then dukes, earls, marquises and lords, then finally commoners, who usually get the title of Sir.